All right, three types of variation: direct, joint, and inverse. When we have y equals kxz, I have three letters besides my k, which you learned today is your constant of variation. So this makes this joint. Varying directly, my equation is y equals kx. And so my third one that I'm missing is inverse. Y equals k divided by x. In order to be inverse, x has to be on the bottom. So this one asks me to tell whether x and y show direct variation, inverse variation, or neither, and state the constant of variation if there is one. Y equals 2x plus 3 is going to be neither, because there is a plus or minus. We don't have any plus or minus in our equations. The second one, y equals x over 3, is going to be my direct. Although it is a fraction, x is not on the bottom, which means that it's the same thing as y equals 1/3 times x, or y equals kx, making it direct, and making my constant of variation 1/3. On the next one, x equals 3 over y, I need to make it y equals. I'll multiply both sides by y, so yx equals 3. Get y alone by dividing by 3, so y equals 3 over x. X is on the bottom, so it is inverse. K is on the top, so my constant of variation is 3. Y equals 3 over x. X is on the bottom, so it's inverse. The number on the top is k, which is 3. For the last one, I need to get y alone. To get rid of 1/2, I multiply by 2. So xy equals 4. To get y alone, I divide by x. So y equals 4 over x. X on the bottom makes it inverse. And my constant of variation, 4. In the next section, it asks me, it says the variables x and y vary directly. Directly is y equals kx. Use the given values to write an equation relating x and y. Then, find y when x is 2. So the first one is write an equation relating them. That means I need to find k. So y equals kx, I'm going to plug in the y that it gives me and the x that it gives me. So -2 equals k times x, which is 6. Divide by 6 and simplify. So k equals -1/3. So my equation is y equals -1/3 x. Then it tells me to use that equation and plug in x is 2 to find y. So y equals -1/3 and x is going to be 2. When I do that math, y equals -2/3. So there are my two answers for problem number 7. And problem number 8, we're doing the same thing. Y equals kx, plug in x and y. 4 equals k times x is 4. Divide both sides by 4 to get k alone. I get k equals 1. That makes my equation y equals 1x, or just y equals x. So I'm going to plug in 2. Y equals 1 times 2. So y equals 2. For number 9 and number 10, same idea, except this time my variables x and y vary inversely. Y equals k over x. Use the given values to write an equation relating x and y. That's where I need to find k, and then find y when x is 2. So y equals k over x. I'm going to plug in what it gives me. -2 equals k divided by x, which is 6. To get k alone, I multiply by 6 on both sides. So k equals negative 12. So my equation is y equals negative 12 over x. Then I use this equation when x is 2 to find y. Y equals negative 12 over 2. So y equals negative 6. Number 10, plug them in again. Y equals k over x because it's inverse. So 4 equals k over 4. To get k alone, I multiply both sides by 4. So k equals 16. So y equals 16 over x. Use that equation to find y when x is 2. So y equals 16 over 2. Y equals 8. Okay, on the back, number 11, 12, and 13. Determine whether x and y show direct variation, inverse variation, or neither. To be direct, y equals kx. To be inverse, y equals k divided by x. So, I'm looking for a pattern to get from x to y. To get from 3 to 1, I would need to divide by 3, multiply by 1/3, which is the same thing, or subtract 2. To get from 6 to 2, I would divide by 3. To get from 9 to 3, I would divide by 3. So my pattern is x over 3, or x divided by 3. Since x is on top, it's not inverse, so it actually is 1/3 times x, making it direct. For number 12, I need to find a pattern to get from 2 to 5. Would multiply times 1.5. I'm sorry, that's not right. I'm sorry. To get from x to y, there's nothing that I can divide by each time. There's nothing that I can multiply by each time. So I need to find a different pattern. If I multiply x times y, 2 times 5 is 10, 4 times 2.5 is 10, 8 times 1.25 is 10, and 10 times 1 is 10. What that tells me is that answer divided by x gives me y. So that means y equals 10 divided by x, making it inverse. Over here, number 13, if I divide them, I get 0.5, 0.61. They don't match. If I multiply them, I get 12.5. I get 26. They don't match. I can't multiply or divide by anything to make them match, which makes them neither direct or inverse. Number 14, the variable z varies jointly with x and y. So z varies jointly with x and y. So it's z equals. Use the given values to write an equation relating x, y, and z. Then find z when x equals 2 and y equals 5. So I'm going to plug into z equals kxy. Z is 24. K is what I'm looking for. X is 3, Y is 4. 3 times 4 is 12, times K equals 24. To get K alone, I need to divide by 12, so K equals 2. Making my equation relating them, Z equals 2XY. So then it asks me to find Z when X is 2 and Y is 5. So 2 is my K, 2 is my X, 5 is my Y. 2 times 2 is 4 times 5 makes Z 20. The last one is a simple interest problem. The simple interest, I, for savings account is jointly proportional, so equals, I equals the product of the time and the principal. Jointly means there's also K, the constant of variation, times the time and the principal. So it asks me to find the constant of variation if after 15 months the interest on the principal is $2,500, is $78.13. So I'm going to plug in to I equals KTP. My interest is $78.13. I'm looking for K. My time is 15 months, but over here it tells me time is in years. So 15 months is 1.25 years, 1 month and a quarter, or 1 year and a quarter. So 1.25 times the principal is $2,500. So I get $78.13 equals K times 3,125. And when I divide by 3,125 to find K, I get that K equals 0.025. So my new equation relating I, T, and P is I equals 0.025 TP. What will the interest rate be after 2 years? So I'm looking for I, the interest rate. 0.025 is K. T is my time, 2 years. P is my original principal from the original equation, $2,500. Crunch, multiply those 3 numbers together, and I get that the interest will be $125. Lastly, it asks me, what does the constant of variation represent? I have money and time, and I find out the interest rate. I find out the interest by using the interest rate. So my constant of variation is the interest rate.